established by Tennessee fans. Our friend Seth Greenburg is on Twitter, Seth on Hoops. Of course, he is an ESPN college basketball analyst, two-time ACC Coach of the Year, Virginia Tech up there in Blacksburg, and Duke taking off to take on the Hokies. We'll ask you about that matchup here on Off the Bench. Good morning, Seth. Thanks for the time.
How you guys doing?
Doing good. Let's start with the official on Saturday because everybody's talking about the Will Wade stuff, and we'll get to it from you. Anthony Jordan was photographed with an LSU shirt back in 2014. It populated on social media. Then it was brought to the public following the LSU-Tennessee game on Saturday. He was on the whistle. As a former coach, now an analyst for the sport, what do you make of this story?
Well, I mean, the SEC and the NBA and most conferences have rules about social media, and they're pretty strict rules about, look, officiating is a very difficult job. The integrity of the game is the most important thing. Your job is to basically uphold the integrity of the game. And if you have any affiliation with any institution whatsoever, obviously, the supervisor of officials and the assigner wants to make sure to help you by not assigning you to any of those games. And, here's the thing, Anthony Jordan, again, I'm not even going to get into how the game was officiated.
Yeah.
I'm more going to get into the optics of it all. The optics of it all, not only that, but then following up another internet post or Facebook post or whatever, him wearing an Alabama shirt with another Go Tigers to follow it up, is a bad optic. It's against the rules of the SEC. It's unacceptable. If I was an opposing coach, I would be absolutely furious, not because I'm accusing him of any wrongdoing, but basically because it was unethical. And he shouldn't be doing it. He shouldn't be on a game where he actually has some type of rooting interest for an institution.
Seth Greenburg joining us here, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, and Alexandria. LSU is tied atop of the league right now with Tennessee and Kentucky. What's your overall view of the Southeastern Conference here in 18-19?
I think the league is really good. I think the league has depth, and it's really good at the top. You're talking about Kentucky, Tennessee, and LSU. They're all teams that are second weekend teams and even potential Final Four teams. What LSU did the other day was impressive. Without Tremont Waters, although I think that without Tremont Waters, you saw Javonte Smart, you saw his explosiveness, his aggressiveness. The ball moved a little bit better at times. I think Tremont, as good as he is and as dynamic as he is, the ball can get stuck at times. But look, LSU is a talented team. I'd love to see Naz Reid on the left block a little bit and actually try to score from the block. I understand he can make a three, but you know what? I can get someone else that can make more threes than him. Yeah. But they are a very good team. They're athletic and long and competitive, and they're a team that could be Final Four good if everything works out. They could be second weekend, but they're also a team that could lose in the first weekend.
Talking to Seth Greenburg at Seth on Hoops on Twitter. Of course, see him on ESPN all the time, two-time ACC Coach of the Year. And that's what I want to pick your brain about, Seth. Is from a coach's perspective, you have your star player, Tremont Waters, sit out. The team goes on to, quite frankly, that was a historical win. That was the first time there's been a top 15 matchup in the PMAC in 35 years. As the coach, how are you handling your star player's psyche after he sees the team go out there and do that without him? Then how do you kind of reintegrate him?
Well, it's really you reintegrate them, but you tell them this is great for our team. This is great for the growth of our team. You see different guys step up. That's who we need to be if we're going to compete for a national championship or Final Four, if we're going to be our very best. This was a great thing that happened today. Now you understand you can trust these guys that much more in crunch time, that guys can make plays. So you spin that to a very positive side. I mean, you can spin that thing and basically say, hey, Tremont, this is the next step for our team, that we can win without you. Now you go back in there, you can have greater trust for your teammates. You can make the plays, be aggressive, but also look to make plays for them and allow them to make plays. So you spin it in a very positive vein, which I think is really important. And I think moving forward, it could be a good thing for LSU. Now, the one thing going back to the officials thing, that first play of the LSU game, where basically Grant Williams got thrown to the floor.
Yeah.
If I was Rick Barnes, Will Wade would have a problem. I'm just telling you.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what I was going to ask you about.
That's a kinder, gentler Rick Barnes, because that looked malicious to me.
So and so you actually talked about this on your Sirius show yesterday. We had an anonymous user wanted me to ask you about this, where you said you would have gone after Will Wade because you think that sort of foul that starts from the coach.
Well, yeah, and especially when the coach in the Wired segment turns around and says, "Keep on punching him in the face" or whatever. Keep on. I forgot exactly what the quote was in the Wired segment that he had. Yeah, I mean, yeah, because I mean, like, here's the thing: I'm all about playing hard. I mean, my team's played hard, and we were physical, and I had guys that did things that I didn't appreciate. But that play in particular seemed much more malicious than a normal physical play.
So how surprised were you when they went to the?
What's your guys' opinion on it?
Well, how surprised were you when they went to the monitor and they didn't overturn it?
I was shocked.
Hmm.
I was shocked. I was really surprised. And again, I don't have a horse in the race.
Sure.
I really don't care who wins the game. But I'll tell you what, when you're playing and you have a star player, a kid like Grant Williams, and something like that happens. Remember Isaac Haas last year in the NCAA tournament, or at the end of the season. I mean, like, that seemed a little bit, and again, I'm not saying it was. To me, as an outsider, just watching the game, sitting in the studio and watching the game, that seemed a little malicious to me.
Yeah, well, as an LSU fan, it was definitely not malicious. It was a pure accident. Don't worry, Seth. Nothing. No, look, I think you're right. Look, if karma's a real thing.
No, I mean, wait a second. Give me an honest answer, all right? What did you think?
I mean, yeah, I think.
Take off your LSU hat.
I think no. I mean, it's.
What did you think?
It's dirty.
I'll
it's
say
dirty.
it. No, because I was surprised when they went to the monitor. And then when I saw the replay and he extended his arms to throw him to the ground, I thought that there was going to be some type of further foul being called. I thought that there was going to be a flagrant called. But when it went to the monitor and it wasn't, I thought that they just set the tone that it was going to be a physical game all day.
That's good. Physical game. Take me up to the
No, look, it was
okay.
It was.
I'll tell you one thing. Admiral Schofield did the same thing. He might crack one of those LSU guys.
Oh my God, that guy is a man. And look, if you believe in karma, Williams ended up playing incredible, and Nasri did not play well at all.
One more, Seth, and we'll get you out.
LSU won the game, and LSU played well, and LSU's having a great. I mean, if you think about, the Florida loss and the Arkansas, yet they're able to have these great wins, and that's why I say they can get knocked out in the second round of the tournament, or they can go to the Final Four. You can lose to, Arkansas and Florida. I think it was Florida game was at home, right?
Yeah. All right, Seth. Last one.
The downside. The upside is you can beat anyone in the country.
Wait, and so that's what I wanted to ask you about, because 2 out of the last 4 games they have top 5 wins. 2 of the last 3 home games they've lost to unranked teams. Like as a coach, like how tough is it to motivate from the top, right? Instead of playing the underdog card when you have to win, just going out there and taking care of business.
You don't worry about it. What you do is you say winning and losing is a byproduct of. And winning and losing is a byproduct of how hard you play, how much you trust, how much you buy into the game plan, how you prepare your focus. Now, it's a little more difficult when you've got some younger players. But the one guy you have, and you guys never talk about him, and it's a shame. The best player in that team is Skylar Mays.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's not even close. Mm-hmm. That dude has an incredible basketball IQ. He plays at his own pace. He's a tremendous leader. He's got character. He's got everything you want in a player. He is the most important Tiger, and he's the best player on that team. And you can talk about all those other guys all you want. Skylar Mays is a dude.
One more. The Yahoo report yesterday included Will Wade and Sean Miller's name. You surprised? And then what happens from this, in your opinion?
I'm not surprised because they had evidence in the first trial that they did not allow in. You guys heard the same thing as we heard, the audio tape of some type of conversation where Will closed the door in his office. So, I mean, am I surprised? No, I'm not surprised. I mean, this came up in October. Now, what comes up of it, I don't know. I don't know what else is on that video, on that audio tape. Will Wade knows. Yeah. So, he knows, I mean, here's the deal. I mean, if he's subpoenaed, unless his attorney can stop them from calling him on witness or having any of those audio tapes entered into the trial, then, if the audio tapes are in the trial and they're condemning, he's got a problem. If the audio tapes are in the trial and they vindicate him, then he's in good shape and LSU's in great shape. But, my gut feeling is you don't subpoena someone unless there's an issue. I don't know. I mean, I couldn't tell you. I hope no one gets in trouble. I wish that, it makes me sick that, a guy like Jimmy Gatto is going to be going to jail. It's, the whole thing. I don't look at these as federal offenses. I look at it as NCAA violations. I look at these things as poor judgment and, and everything else. But guys going to jail just makes me sick.
Seth, thanks for the time this morning, man.